I never understood the fascination with exploring abandoned buildings. Outside of just the dangers of condemned architecture, what about squatters? And people are scary, man. These people that stay in places like this are desperate. You can never, ever, ever trust it. Apparently some people still go on these adventures though, and that's, you know what, I guess it's a good thing because we get to react to horror stories about it. From Spooked, of course. You guys make sure to check him out and subscribe to him. He's an awesome narrator, great channel. Let's get into this reaction.
I live in a remote area in the state of Colorado.
Okay.
It was a warm summer day, and I was playing
Beautiful.
hide and seek with 4 friends of mine.
Mm-hmm.
We were all in the 8 to 12
Very
age
hilly.
range and lived in the same neighborhood, which wasn't too large.
Where I live, it's
and was
like
more
super
like
flat.
6 houses scattered in a forested area.
Yeah.
We'd usually all hang out and go explore new parts of the forest and the creek,
All
but
right.
never going too far off of where we lived.
That's fun stuff when
But
you're a kid.
that day, we were playing hide and seek in a part of the forest where we had never been before, and we figured it would make it a more exciting game because of that.
Found a house?
We started playing, and Caleb was the seeker.
Okay.
I had wandered off in the back end of the forest and discovered a shabby-looking wooden house.
No.
It looked abandoned,
Right.
so I decided to go inside to find a hiding spot.
Oh, God.
When I entered, I
Poor
noticed there
naive
were
kid.
2 stories, so I decided to make it easier for Caleb and find a hiding spot on the first floor.
Okay. It's
I
very
went into
generous of
what
you.
looked to be a kitchen area and hid inside a cupboard. After a couple of minutes, I figured out I was probably on my way to winning the game,
Yeah.
because I didn't hear Caleb.
Right.
But that's when I heard heavy footsteps coming from the entrance area.
Squatter or somebody that lives there.
I didn't think that was Caleb, and I realized right then and there that I wasn't alone in this house. Someone else, who was either squatting or living here,
Right.
was now coming towards the kitchen.
How in the world?
My heart was racing at this point, as I hoped they didn't make it to the cupboards. There was a small gap on the top part of the cupboard,
Right.
so I could see the entire kitchen area.
Holy crap.
Then,
man.
suddenly, an old, rusty-looking man came into the kitchen.
Okay.
He looked like he hadn't had showered in months,
He was
and the
homeless.
most scary part of it was that he was holding a bloody hatchet and slammed it onto the wooden kitchen counter right on top of me. I could see the blood dripping down on the floor in front of me.
What the hell did he just kill?
Then he took the axe and turned on the sink, presumably to wash it. After he was done, he went upstairs, and I heard what seemed to be bed springs. And after that, it was silent again.
Wow. Maybe he had just killed
I was
something
guessing he was
to
in his
eat.
own room taking a nap.
You know?
I
Game.
took this chance to quietly
or
open
something.
the cupboard and make my way out to the house. I was successful at doing so, and I was now at a comfortable distance from that creepy house.
Right.
I looked around to see if anyone was following me.
That
but
man was
That's when I saw someone in the upstairs window.
watching.
To my surprise, it was Caleb. He
Oh!
was looking at me, and he was pressing his head against the glass,
Oh, no.
making some sort of grimace.
Caleb!
His nose was sloped upwards like a pig. I figured he must have entered by the back door.
Was he
as
just-
I had left or something.
Like,
I looked at
showing
him,
off?
but told him to get out of the house the best I could
Right.
with my hands to not make any noise. But as I got closer to him, I noticed something was off.
he was being pushed
As I
up
got
against the
closer,
window.
He didn't really shift his gaze.
Right.
He also wasn't really moving.
Oh, no.
It all suddenly clicked for me in the
It's
most
Caleb's
horrifying
head?
way, as I realized Caleb was in fact dead. His body lying against the window, and blood now pouring from the top of his forehead.
The man killed Caleb
Then
with the
I saw
hatchet.
the old man from earlier come from behind him and look out the window to see me. He didn't react in any way and stared down at me with a smirk growing on his face.
What the F?
I sprinted away as fast as I could and went home. As soon as I made it home, I told everyone I could, including my parents.
Of course.
They called the cop, and long story short, they found pieces of Kayla's body all around the house, with all kinds of cuts and mutilations on the thighs. I still get nightmares of that man's face, smiling above
dang.
Caleb's corpse in the window.
All from a hide and seek game. What the hell, dude?
On the outskirts of
My
our town,
heart,
there
bruh.
was an abandoned hospital building. It was apparently abandoned in the early 2000s when a hurricane caused a flood,
Alright.
which made the entire building lose its power. Anyway, me and my friends Marquez and Kelvin would usually do some rooftop exploring around the town.
Okay.
We were all reckless troublemakers, but we always had fun.
We did
and
some
it
of
never
that
really
too.
put us in any
Rooftop
sort of
exploring.
danger.
Scary,
One day
dangerous,
though,
stupid,
we were
but
all hanging out
we were
on
young
the
and
usual
stupid.
rooftop as we always did.
Right.
And because it was winter, it was getting dark pretty early that day. And as a result, we saw something very unusual.
Okay.
Upon looking back now, we should have never seen or gotten curious about in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
It was some sort of
It was a
blue
light?
coming from inside the abandoned hospital.
Yeah.
We all
To
looked
hell
at
with
each
that,
other in
dude.
disbelief. After all, the hospital was supposed to be abandoned.
Somebody was chilling up there.
It was also strange because there was no electricity in the entire building.
They might have just had
So
a light.
no one could plug any sort of light or anything.
I mean, batteries, bro.
We all immediately jumped to speculations. Marquez thinking it was an alien life form,
Oh
and
my
Kelvin thinking it might
God.
be some sort of chemical reaction in the lab department.
No, maybe a
I
ghost
honestly
or something.
didn't know what it was. We were all getting increasingly
Glowing
curious.
ghost? I have no
It got
idea.
to the point where
I mean-
Marquez snapped and proposed the idea of us going in
Let's
the building
explore
and
it.
finding out for ourselves.
No.
Kelvin agreed, and although I was a little hesitant,
A little?
peer pressure got the best of me.
Psh, nope.
And before I know
Y'all
it,
could go.
we were on our way to the building.
You're gonna end up like Caleb and
Upon
get
entering, I couldn't
cut.
help but notice the smell of something rotten that was protruding throughout the building.
probably
It was
dead
incredibly dark
animals and
inside,
maybe even
so we all had to
people.
turn on our flashlights on our phones. There was shattered glass on the floor,
Right.
and all kinds of random medical tools and other objects
vandalism
scattered around.
and I mean,
We
it's an
somehow
abandoned
found
building.
and made our way to the stairs,
Right.
which were extremely tiring. As we were walking up the stairs, I just
Look
kept
how
wondering
creepy
what the
this
blue
is,
light could
dude.
possibly be. We were all more or less anxious at this point, but our curiosity just kept
How would y'all
increasing
even
as we
know where
got
it
closer to the
was?
light.
Y'all
We
see
finally
the light
had
from
reached the level
stairs?
from which the light was coming from.
Okay.
We made sure to stay together as we all moved to the front side of the building. And at that point, we were in the
Kind of
hallway,
waiting for a jump scare here.
when we now finally saw some of the light coming from one of the rooms in the distance.
Right.
We decided to all be quiet and turn our flashlights off
Well,
as we got closer to whatever was
yeah,
emitting the
Trying to
light.
sneak.
Instead of the usual silence we had heard in the building, we now started hearing some sort of electrical rumbling noise. Then, as we got closer, the sound got more clear, and I
Okay.
could make out some sort of bubbling sound. That's when suddenly Kevin noticed that something passed in front of the light, as if someone is in the room. He
Is
said.
that a meth lab?
Both me and Marquez didn't see anything, so we decided to get closer anyway.
Dude, the little
As we were walking,
sound
though,
spooked. This
I
is
accidentally
genius.
stepped on a piece of glass, which echoed throughout the hallway. At this point, we were panicking more than ever.
Oh God,
and
no.
suddenly saw some shadow moving in front of the lights again. I said to Kelvin and Marquez
Let's
that
go.
maybe we should go back.
Right.
And they agreed with a horrified expression on their face.
Let's get the hell out of
But
here.
As I turned back around to face the direction of the light, I suddenly see a man wearing a mask and a full hazmat suit. He was just standing there.
It's exactly what
looking
it is.
right
It's a
at
meth
us.
lab.
Then he slowly took out a revolver and pointed it straight at us.
Mm-hmm.
From there, we all turned around.
You would
and
expect
sprinted
somebody
as fast as humanly possible.
Manufacturing drugs in an
We found
abandoned
all the
building to have a
stairs,
gun.
sprinting down without stopping. And
God!
eventually, we made it out of the building safe and sound. We were all still in fight or flight mode, even after a good 20 levels of stairs. But once we calmed down, we decided to call it a night
They
and
lucky they
all
didn't
go
get
home.
shot, man.
The next day,
Very
we met up
lucky.
again on the same rooftop as yesterday, but the light was gone this time.
Well, I guess they shut down
This
the
only made
operation.
me wonder what sort of twisted experiment was going on in that room. I guess none of us will ever
They were
know.
cooking crank.
And honestly, I'm not sure if I still
They were
want to
cooking
know.
crank. That's the only thing I could think of, man. Sheesh.
My name is Andrew, and I was 15 at the time this happened.
All right, Andrew.
I was new in school and had just met some two guys that, for privacy reasons, will go by the names Josh and Jacob.
All right.
They were cool kids,
Yeah.
and the day I met them, we bonded so well that around lunchtime, Josh told us about an abandoned house that was a couple of miles away from school, saying it was supposedly haunted, and that
Yeah.
we should visit it after school.
Right.
Me and Jacob both laughed it off, telling him in the nicest way possible to say,
crazy.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
But eventually, Josh got us intrigued because his and Jacob's parents weren't home that day.
Oh my god.
My parents were going to be watching football with my neighbors,
Right.
so I figured it was a potential plan. At around 9 p.m., I get a message from Jacob saying, Dude, get dressed and meet me outside your house.
Worst thing is the
I
parents
eventually
don't
got
know,
up
right? So
and
if
walked
something
outside,
happens,
seeing
they have
both
no
Jacob
idea
and
where you
Josh
were.
waiting on my front porch with their phones and flashlights. What the hell? I said, confused. Why did you bring flashlights?
We go and explore.
Jacob and Josh looked at each other, then back at me. We're going to break in the abandoned house by Rail Point Road. No.
No.
I said to them.
Nope.
We can't break into an abandoned house. We could get in serious trouble.
I'm friends with y'all and
we
stuff,
started
but this
having
is
an
nuts.
argument, and long story short, they got me to go with them.
Oh my god, man.
We all hopped on our bikes and started following each other to the house.
Peer pressure's a
We
mother
stopped
at
to
that age,
overlook
bro.
what seemed to be an old and rusty house with a cracked window on the second floor. Josh enthusiastically got off his bike and tried to open the door, starting to get mad that it was locked.
Right.
Damn old door, Josh yelled, getting a splinter in his left hand. I got it, Jacob said, putting a cloth on his arm and breaking the glass next to the door, unlocking the door and opening it.
Right.
We walked in the house and we all stopped and realized it smelled like rotten milk, and the walls had stains and bugs crawling, and the furniture had mold. We all looked around when we suddenly heard a loud slam coming from upstairs.
Somebody was chilling. Or it was haunted.
Hello? Jacob said, walking up the stairs with me. The floorboards were horribly damaged. When we got to the top, one of the doors started to bang violently.
Oh my god.
Over and over again, the door banged.
That's a haunting.
As soon as me and my friends were gonna leave, a loud and grouchy voice yelled, "Get out of my home."
Whoa!
Eventually screaming like a deranged man.
Okay, maybe it's not a
We were
haunting.
gonna leave, but Jacob and Josh were gone. They vanished. I quickly hid in the closet and heard the loud bangs and screams coming from the man getting closer. The man busted through the door and started to throw things and scream for the top of his lungs.
So it is a man.
Where are you?
Not a ghost.
I was so scared I felt like I was gonna cry.
Where the hell are your friends?
But I somehow stayed silent. The man stopped and walked out of the room. I got out of the closet and eventually jumped out the window.
Right. He
When
was
I got
watching
out
though.
from the window, I started to run, and as I looked back
was
at
it
the
your
broken
friend?
window, I saw the man's face smiling with his big, bulgy eyes
Oh my
and his
god.
huge, crooked teeth. I got on my bike and just sped home. Ever since then, I never saw Jacob and Josh again.
What?
Never showed up to school those days. Till I got a package, and it was a bloody shirt that had a note on it that said, "Miss me yet?"
Oh my god. Dude. I got the chills so bad from that. So I did actually go into a house, an abandoned house before. When I was young and stupid, there was a group of us. I had a ninja sword. Look, it was stupid. I would never do it again. I was a stupid kid. But it's, as an adult thinking about stuff like this, the dumbest stuff you can do, man. Story 1 was the perfect example of that. Holy crap. Guys, Spooked. Amazing stories. Y'all make sure to sub to him, as well as a couple videos that I reacted to from him that I think you'll love. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.